Kia ora koutou, kōnuk te tōku ingoa. Firstly, thanks very much for this opportunity to speak on this format, really appreciate it, and thanks very much for those who are here and in that space of listening and seeing what I have to say. It's much appreciated. So as I said, my name's Nick Chater, born and raised in Rotorua, have lived 52 years here, old fella, and live out at Otara Marae with my lovely wife Kimi. My wife is really from the US, Hispanic and First Nation mix, and my children Tanaya and Ani Ruimata are actually one of the reasons, big reasons that I'm standing for council, looking for a positive future for those guys. So I guess, what do I bring? Why am I standing? Sort of those sort of things. So my background is I've had 30 odd years working in the youth and social service space, working in and around rangatahi, whānau engagement, and had, I don't know, probably 20 years at the Polytechs, Wairiki and Toyoho Mai, running adventure tourism and youth engagement programs. Own two businesses, Multi-Day Adventures and Mountain Bike Rotorua, and have worked with Te Wariki Pūria Trust, whānau, Te Aro Whānau, youth social services, all those sort of things. Another thing that I've sort of have been doing for the last 6 years, I've been on the Lakes Community Board and currently the Deputy Chair of the Community Board, and that has given me 6 years of really valuable sort of knowledge around council and the things we have to be able to do, so good experience for me. Probably the most exciting thing on that I worked alongside was Te Maru o Kaituna River Authority, and that was representing the Lakes Council. And I guess what was really good about that, it was a Māori entity working alongside council entities to sort of bring the Māori back to the Kaituna River. So beautiful project, had some really good things come from that. So again, really enjoyed that. So why am I standing? I guess for me, Rotorua is I could live anywhere. I live here because I love it here, for my mental health, for all my recreation, for all those things. I think Rotorua is a beautiful place to live. But I reckon it's at crisis point for a couple of things, and those are things that are really close to my heart. So for me, that sits around the environment and putting the environment at the first, sort of when we start talking it, that change the narrative to putting it at our forefront of our thinking, and that's around climate change and what's going on, especially for our future generations. I think if we don't start now, down the line, everything, whether it's people or an economy, is going to struggle from it. So that's really key to me. Second, that's really important to me is an equity and our whānau that are working really hard and actually going backwards, and working in the social service world, seeing the strain that our whānau is under, and just working alongside people to sort of help that sort of improve those outcomes is really important to me. Finally, the economy, and I've put that last because I think sometimes we concentrate on having the economy at the forefront of our thinking. And yes, economy is important because you can't do anything without the money to do these projects around environment, etc. But let's change the narrative so it's a sustainable economy. And what do I mean by sustainable economy? It's around that idea that we actually understand what our town needs and puts those needs at the forefront of our thinking. So what do our people in this environment actually need? So I guess if I'm thinking about it, what has that got to do with the Te Arawa Vision 2050? Well, this aspirational document that I've read through, have a bit of an understanding of, it basically puts people at the front and it takes care of all people. So although it says Te Arawa, if the Te Arawa Vision aspirations are followed, it actually supports the whole of Rotorua. And if you look at it at its essence, it's about a healthy, thriving people and an environment. And all the issues that I've just outlined above, from all those sort of things, we can't do alone as a council. It has to be alongside and working with Te Arawa. And these are really complex problems that Te Arawa actually are part of the solution. So one of the things that really drove that home for me was when we had the COVID response. I was working for Te Wariki Pūria Trust, and I got to see firsthand working on the Te Arawa COVID response. How Te Arawa responded and what it did for all of its people in the area was just outstanding, was massive. So to be a part of that really showed me what the partnership and working with Te Arawa was all about. Finally, I think one of the questions is around Māori innovation and Māori business and why it's important. 100% it's important. 40% of our population are Māori, and when Māori are doing really well, the whole of the town does really well. So I've been lucky enough to be in around Māori business, and the innovation and the thinking that is quite different, that gives us our separation, gives us our identity, and something different to the rest of the country sits there. What I know about Māori innovation, Māori business is, yes, very good at thinking, very good at innovation, those sort of things, but at the forefront puts people and it puts relationships. And I believe 100% when you put people and relationships at the head of your business, then everybody does well. So I think we need to look towards Māori business and when they're going forward and sort of bringing what's new into our town. So again, thanks very much for the opportunity to talk. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope you got a little understanding of who I am and what I do. Kia ora.